Hello, I'm Adrian, and today we're taking an in-depth look at Batman's fighting style. Batman is one of the best hand-to-hand fighters in the entire DC Comics universe. There are few other characters who equal his skills, but today we're going to be focusing on the Batman in the current DC Extended Universe or Cinematic Universe and see how many fighting styles he's proficient at. I've already made a video analyzing his moves one by one and going through each one of them, which you are welcome to check out either before or after this video. But today we're going to take an even deeper look into his fighting style to uncover just how many martial arts this particular version of Batman is proficient at. According to the comics, Batman is familiar with every single martial art in existence, so let's see just how many this Batman knows by extrapolating techniques that are particular to certain fighting styles. First and foremost, Batman is most certainly familiar with boxing, and it is an essential tool to have in your arsenal. Every martial art has a certain way of teaching you how to punch with subtle variations, but without a doubt, the strongest and most powerful punching techniques come from boxing. The entire discipline is focused on achieving the maximum amount of impact behind each and every punch. A big part of adding that strength is twisting your body in order to add torque to your cross or straight punch. We see Batman demonstrate these principles when he torques his body to clock the man that he caught with his grappling hook, as well as when he punches a man into the ground. Notice how his whole body twists with that punch. However, boxing emphasizes that you hit your opponent with your fists from the front, and you have to look at other martial arts in order to find more varied striking surfaces. Hitting your opponent with the side of your fist, also known as a hammer fist, or the back side of your fist, or opening up your hand to strike with it as if it were a blade, known as a knife hand, are a couple striking techniques which appear in a variety of martial arts, but are most closely associated with karate. I'm sure you have at one point heard the term karate chop. Despite its somewhat played out name, it is a very good technique that is lethal against the mastoid muscles of the neck or the jugular, which is exactly where Batman uses it in this fight. He also uses a side elbow, and although elbows are pretty much the cornerstone of Muay Thai, this particular technique is more closely associated with karate. Speaking of elbows, elbows and knees are absolutely critical to Muay Thai, and they are part of what is known as the art of 8 limbs, since you also use them in your fighting arsenal besides your traditional punches and kicks. What makes this martial art crucial to Batman's fighting style is that both elbows and knees are more traditionally suited to close quarter situations when you don't have time to extend your whole arm or leg. This is why we see Batman use elbow strikes, such as right here when he actually uses the first to disarm his opponent and the second elbow to knock him down. Or he disables this guy with one quick uppercut elbow, and he attacks this man from the floor with a horizontal elbow or soktat. A great instance of Batman using a perfectly placed curved knee is when he is knocked to the ground. At the earliest opportunity, he lifts his right leg from the ground and has it come crashing down on his opponent. But sometimes your arms just can't provide the kind of strength you're looking for, and you want to extend your whole leg for more power, and that's when you turn to traditional kicking. Kicking is taught across a wide variety of martial arts, but it's an absolute primary focus in Taekwondo. Despite the name meaning the way of the hand and foot, there's an awful lot of focus placed on the foot. The kicks range from the incredibly practical push kick, used by Batman in this very fight, and also a favorite of Captain America, to the also powerful and quick to execute roundhouse kick, where the goal is to swiftly hit your opponent in a horizontal manner. Here Batman uses it to toss a hanging foe onto the grenade holding villain, and since Batman is able to effortlessly perform these techniques while wearing heavy boots, I will also assume he is a practitioner of Savate, French-style kickboxing which emphasizes in practicing its kicks while wearing your shoes, since you will rarely be able to get a chance to remove your shoes before a fight. I've mentioned Krav Maga several times throughout my videos, but I should clarify that although it is a very prominent fighting style or self-defense system, there are several practitioners who don't even classify it as a martial art since it doesn't have the same principles behind it. What makes it unique is that it was developed by a man who had a foundation in boxing to deal with assailants in the army and has perhaps the most effective and lethal disarms available anywhere. Undoubtedly an important skill for this Batman to learn, as 9 times out of 10 his assailants will be armed. In this fight he disarms men with assault rifles, and a knife assailant even gets thrown to the floor. He even gets a man to stab himself with his own knife. All things which are taught in this fighting style. Krav Maga's goal is to utterly overpower your assailant with quick and brutal techniques which are usually illegal in other martial arts, one of which happens to be Batman's favorite move, the headbutt. It's a powerful technique to use against another man's nose or back of the head, but is equally dangerous on the man performing it. But since Batman does have a reinforced cowl, I'm sure he'll be fine. The martial art that should most closely be associated with Batman should be what he essentially is, a caped ninja. Ninjas were trained in the art of ninjutsu, and which is Batman's signature weapon? The Batarang, which is essentially his very own branded throwing star, or shuriken. His tactics of attacking from an unknown and unpredictable location are also a big part of this martial art. His weapons and tactics notwithstanding, in this particular fight he also employs a kick which I earlier attributed to a form of a cut kick from Wing Chun, but upon closer inspection it looks more like an Osoto Geri from ninjutsu. It's a very unconventional kind of kick, which instead of snapping forward is executed by lifting the leg as if you were to take a big step over something and extending the leg forward horizontally with your knee facing outwards. It's very hard to execute, but it's a great kick to take out someone's knee, which is exactly what Batman does right here. Whenever you think of deftly deflecting traditional boxing style punches and countering with moves of your own, what word comes to your mind?
I know Kung Fu.
Indeed, Kung Fu, one of the oldest martial arts in existence, several others have borrowed its concepts and insanely practical defenses and counters against most attacks, so we can safely assume Batman also uses concepts from this martial art in his fighting style as well. But fighting styles are not always focused on offensive techniques like kicking or punching, and that brings us to martial arts such as Judo and Aikido, which both feature extremely efficient techniques for manipulating the body in order to be deflected and thrown across the room or down to the ground, effectively using your opponent's force against him. In this scene, Batman uses his enemies as ragdolls multiple times. He throws this man after disarming him, and he deflects this man's attempted takedown by just using his momentum to swiftly throw him against the floor. He also performs a variety of arm locks, such as this one where he uses his knee to crack this man's arm. As such, having gone through this fantastic fight scene once again, seriously, thank you Zack Snyder and fight choreographer Guillermo Grispo, what is Batman's final tally in fighting styles? They are boxing, karate, Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Savate, Krav Maga, Ninjutsu, Kung Fu, Judo, and Aikido. That brings us to a grand total of 10 fighting styles. What fighting styles did you see in the film? Which is your favorite? What other character would you like me to perform an in-depth fighting style analysis on? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe and follow me on my social media accounts to find out when the next video comes out. You can also support the channel via Patreon and get exclusive rewards. See you next time.